Welcome back. I did just play and win a rapid game. So if you've seen my last video, that's the one I'm talking about. I'm wearing the same shirt. There's no reason to switch shirts because you know I sometimes record 2 videos in one day. Since I'm done with that and I still have some more time, I am going to try to solve some chess puzzles. And is that showing up? It is. I'm going to click puzzles and go. We're at 1284. It looks like I have it. I was going to say a check, but this pesky bishop's in the way of this file here. What if I went all the way down? Okay, they have 2 pieces protecting that square, so it's not there. What if I went down with the rook first? They still have 2 pieces guarding that square, and then I still can't check along this diagonal. Wait, what if I checked there? Oh no, wait. I can check by taking the rook. Oh wow. Why didn't I see that first? I can check by taking the rook. They can't move over because my rook is guarding this line, so they'll have to block with the knight, and then I will take the knight and that will be mate. Oh, and it didn't go all the way to mate, so. Okay, well, it took me a few seconds to see that. It probably shouldn't have. There's no puzzle rating on this. It says it is pending. My camera box is blocking the rating where it says pending, but oh, it only has a 42% pass rate, so I feel good about that. Let's go to the next one. These are getting a little harder, but we're still not at the incredibly hard yet. Let's see. They are pointing at my king, but only with 1 piece right now. I'm kind of pointing across their king. I can go here and threaten mate. Can they stop that? What will they do if I put my queen on f6 and I'm threatening mate on g7? Let's just say that's what I did, because they wouldn't be able to move the pawn up to let the queen guard that spot. They can't move the knight anywhere that guards that spot. They can't move the rook anywhere that guards that spot. They could move the queen somewhere, but they can't get to guarding g7. And they can't run this way with their king because I'm protecting these squares. And from there, my queen would be hitting this. Their king could go there, but that wouldn't stop mate. Okay, so what can they do? They can check me. And I could just get out of check for that matter. Actually, I would want to get out of check this way, I think, so they wouldn't check me again there. Because I don't have any checks other than taking that pawn immediately, which that doesn't seem well advised. And I don't have any captures other than taking that pawn. So I think the threat of checkmate is best here. And that seems to be the central idea of this puzzle, is that their queen can't get there, their rook can't get there, their knight can't guard that square. And I think the only way they can get out of it is to start checking me. So I'm going to try that. Oh, and it stopped there. I thought I was going to have to deal with this, and then I was going to have to decide which place to move to, because if I moved to the H file, they could check me again here, and then I would have to take with my pawn, and then I think they would be out of checks at that point. That puzzle was rated 1200. Let's keep going. Okay, it looks like this is just a mate in 1. The king has gone the wrong way. I don't think they can get out of this because the 2 rooks protect each other and cut off these squares, as well as that one, whereas the bishop guards that and the pawn guards that. So I think that will be mate. Okay, the theme was doubled rook. Okay, well, that's close. I'll let that slide, but mate in 1, I think, was the theme here because, yeah, that's checkmate. Okay, sometimes I'm not sure. Sometimes I say it is and I'm wrong, but I'm 99.9% certain that that's checkmate. Next. Well, they just took my rook. Hurt my feelings. Let's see, where's their king? Oh, it's way down there. It's not out in the open like my king. I'm going to guess they should have done something else, like checked me. No, they couldn't have done that if I had a rook down here. I don't know what they should have done. Maybe checked me here. But I think I can check them on f7. Wait, their rook's guarding, because they'd have to move. But then I'll check there, protected by my bishop. They'll have to take my queen there, and then I'll mate with my knight. I like checkmating with knights. It doesn't happen very often, especially in this little scenario here, but we've seen that position before. Smothered mate, I think that's what that's called. All right, thumbs up for that. Next puzzle. They've just moved out of check from my knight, and I check them again. Well, I can, but that looks bad. 2 different pieces could take me there, and then I don't have a smothered mate with my knight, but I can check again. Oh, I can check again here. And they can't move that knight because it's pinned. So I bet the theme of this puzzle is pinned, because that knight is pinned. And then that's mate, isn't it? Because they can't come back, and they can't block. Was it pin? Oh, the theme was pin. It should also be mate in 1, right? That's mate. They can't take that piece, they can't block, and they can't move. So yeah, checkmate in 1. Okay, next. How many, we're at 6 minutes on my end, and I've solved 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 puzzles. Okay, I'm slowing down a little bit. I think that's because these are getting a little tougher. Okay, the f-pawn has moved, and almost always when the f-pawn has moved, it's a check here. They can't block that check. The king will have to move somewhere. If it goes there, that will be mate. And if it goes there, I think that also will be mate. it went there, so that's checkmate. Mate in 2. Well, let's add mate in 2 as a theme. Okay, I'm feeling pretty good. It says I've got 11 in a row, and I've done some brilliant solving, but I've only done 6 in a row in this video. Okay, well, next. But we're going to take our time, and we're not going to go until we're sure. I am playing with the black pieces, which I went and left my, either left or re-put my bishop on its home square. That's where it started out. I have 3 pieces on their home squares. My opponent has moved all their pieces, and look at that. This guy is coming for me, or girl, or lady, or them, I don't know. Can I check? I can check with this pawn. I think they would take it. Then I would take again, which would be check again. And then if they took with the king, which I assume they would have to, they would either have to take or move back, and then I would win their bishop, and I would still have a bishop. That looks great, right? They can't do anything else except move back or take. Removing the defender. The king was the only defense of that bishop. That's what that's called. Oh, it didn't say that. Suggest themes. Is there one called remove the defender? There is. All right. I like adding themes. That's kind of a joke, but I do. I do have check, guarded by my knight. The king would have to move over one, where I could check with my bishop. They would have to block with the rook, and then that would be mate. Right? Is that right? Let's find out. Because if I go here now, they escape. But if I go here now, they can't escape. That seems best. Let me make sure there's nothing else that they can do about that. There's no other piece that can block except the rook, which leaves the king trapped back here on these squares. Yeah, I think that was it. Okay, that was check, check. It was mate in 3, right? The theme was pin. Well, the rook is pinned now, but that's not the relevant part of it now. Nothing. I don't think pin is the theme of this puzzle. Mate in 3 certainly is. Maybe pin is. I don't know. I'm not the expert. If I was the expert, my rating in Rapid wouldn't be 1292 or whatever it showed there on the front screen. If I was an expert, my rating would be, well, it would be higher than that. Attacking my bishop. How rude. Let's see. Well, there's a check, but that square is guarded by the knight, so I don't think that's good. I have a check here with this bishop. Where can the king go then? Oh, that's mate, right? Because my rook cuts off these, my bishop cuts off that, and they can't block there. Yeah, that's just checkmate. Wow, mate in 1. And that puzzle was rated 1189. If you hear a slight roaring in the background behind my voice, that's because there's a washing machine right through that wall there, like maybe 4 feet in front of my face. There is a wall, but there's a washing machine. So if you're hearing a slight roaring, I mowed the lawn this morning, so my clothes got all dirty, and they're in the washing machine right now. Wait, they took all my pieces. Oh, I still have a rook. Okay. Well, I can check with the pawn. That's the only piece I can check with. If they take, I assume I would take. They wouldn't be in check then, though. Wait. If they take and I take with the pawn, then they just get in front of it, and then what do I do? Oh, I could take the rook also. Should I take the rook or should I check? Oh, that's a good question. I think if I take the rook, oh wait, I also have this. But then they could take that. Okay, let me go back. Let me do this in order. Sorry, I got a little scatterbrained there for a second, but let's start with checks. I believe that's my only check in this position. The king would have a couple of choices. One would be to move out of the way, but I don't know that would be advised. Actually, that might be its best move in that situation. Okay, yeah, I'm sorry, I'm skipping ahead again, still scatterbrained. I don't want to take that pawn because when they take back with the rook, that's going to be check. So I'm pretty sure I don't want to be putting myself in check in this puzzle intentionally. So it's not that. Okay, so what do I do if I check with this pawn and they get in front of it? Because I wouldn't want to check with that pawn because they'll just take it. But then I'll take this, but then they can get in front of it, and then what do I do? I don't know. What happens if I take the rook? If I take the rook, they take this pawn, but if they take that pawn, then I would take back, probably. Well, I'm a little stumped, because those moves all look about equally not, I mean, taking the rook is an obvious move because clearly they just captured something here, or just moved there for the fun of it, but I think they captured something there. Capturing back is an obvious move. Also, if I don't, I mean, this pawn is not protected in any way, but I don't think this check is really effective. They could, if they came forward, that would be really good for me because then I would promote with check, protected by the rook. So I don't think they would move forward. I think they would get in front of it. And again, I couldn't go there because then they would just take that. If I take this rook, what do? They can't check me immediately, but they could take this pawn. If they take that pawn, I can take back, but then they could put me in check and win this pawn. So yeah, I think if I take the rook, that's what they do, is they take this pawn. So I should check first and then take the rook. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to check first and then take the rook so I don't lose this pawn. That's my only reasoning. I can't think of anything better. Okay, they did move in front of it. Now I'm going to take the rook. Well, it took me a little while, but I think my reasoning was sound, wasn't it? That I would lose one of my two advanced pawns there if I just took the rook first. But checking is forcing. They can't do anything about their hanging rook while they're in check. Next puzzle. Okay, they've forked these two pieces. Do I have any checks? I do have a check. I have two checks. I think if I take the bishop, I just lose a rook for it, right? What else? Well, I mean, if I take that and then they take back, I can't check again. Okay, and also my rook is hanging, so I don't know if I should move my rook over to here or move. No, I don't want to move it up to there because then they'll get the bishop for free. But if I move it here, oh yeah, that's protected and that's protected. So then they would have to run with their knight, I guess. But that's probably not the answer because then they would just run with their knight. Oh, but then I could double my rooks down here and be preparing for some sort of infiltration. I wonder if that's not it. Or should I take that first, then do this, after they take back, because I assume they would take back, then I threaten the knight. Then when no, I don't want to put my rook there, never mind. Their knight is pointed at that square. Oh, but so is my knight. So should I put my knight there first? Well, no, because then they would take my rook. Oh, I can just take that knight now. Well, I'm very embarrassed that I didn't see that earlier, that knight is just free for the taking. But my rook is hanging, so I think I should take the bishop first, and then when they take back, then I'll take the knight. Because otherwise, I take the knight and lose a rook. Okay, next. Wait, did it say I haven't missed any, have I? That always starts to make me nervous when I haven't missed any, and then I'm probably about to miss one. Okay, I do have some checks. I have a check there, which is probably not good. I have a check here, which is probably not good. I have a check here, which is also not good. But what about that check? That check's fantastic, right? I think the bishop out to bishop to a3 check is really good because the king can't come forward because my queen is guarding those squares. And it can't come forward here because my bishop would be guarding that square. It would have to go to b1. Okay, that's the only legal move, right? Can't block, can't capture it. King goes to b1. Then I check here. When they block with the rook, I just take that puppy. Let's do it. Nope, not there. We're going to go to e1. Nope. And that's mate. 1, 2, 3. Mate and 3. And it did go to the end, which I appreciate, especially since you have to calculate those to the end in order to know that the first move is right. Next. If the theme is passed pawns here, I will allow it. It looks like they're about to get a passed pawn. I think that my move here has to be king to g3. And the reason I think that is because then I would have mate on the next move, no matter what they do. I don't think they can stop that. First, they have to get out of the way of this pawn before they can promote it. If they get out of the way of that pawn, I could take it at any time. So if I put my king on g3, what can they do? They could come out, but then that's mate still, because my king would be cutting off those two squares, h2 and f2. They could move this pawn, but that doesn't do anything. They can't move this pawn, their a pawn. They can move their rook, but they can't put me in check once I go to g3, because that wouldn't be a check. So they could move their rook to any of these squares, hoping to block my check, but then I'll just take it. So that has to be the move. It's got to be like mate in 2 or 3, 3 at the most. Right, and then I'm going to check, and then they have to block it, and I take it. That's mate in 3. Still says brilliant solving. I think that they may. Let's come up with some more compliments for the people that keep solving these puzzles. After you get so many in a row, it should start saying even false things like, you're a super genius, or geniuses wish they could solve puzzles as fast as you, or something. It doesn't have to be true, right? I mean, maybe it does. Next. White pieces, and I have my rook and queen over here. That looks fantastic. I could take their queen. That's always, I mean, it's nice to take queens, right? I could check again, because I had that in a game the other day where I was supposed to go out here and check and then come over here and check, but in that case their king was still on its home square. Oh, and then in that game, I was supposed to win this pawn, but that's not going to happen here because their king is not on its home square, so they could block with this. They wouldn't want to block with the queen because my rook is still pointing at the queen, but they could block with the pawn, which would be bad for me. So it's not that. It might be taking the queen, but right now, maybe it's important that I don't take the queen for some reason. What could it possibly be? I don't have any other pieces that can come to the rescue, right? That this bishop can't go anywhere. It is locked. Somebody locked that bishop in a closet. He's done for. The knight can get out. The knight knows how to escape locked closets, but knights can't go very fast. And this rook is also in the locked closet with the bishop and the horse. I'm not going to make any jokes about that, but some entered my mind. I think it has to be taking the queen. But what do they do if I take the queen? If I take the queen, they'll take back, right? And then, oh, my queen's hanging. Oh, wow, my queen is hanging. Okay, so I need to do something about that. What should I do about my queen hanging? If I move my queen, then my rook's hanging. Oh, wow. Yeah, if I move my queen, my rook's hanging. Okay. Well, can I protect my rook in some other way? Because if I check here and they block with the pawn, and I come back to protect my rook, their knight is still hitting that square too. So if I protect my queen, which is hanging, then, well, not there, but you know what I'm saying. And then they take my rook. So what do? Let's see, if I take their queen and they take my queen, then I couldn't swing back and get the bishop because from there their knight would be guarding the bishop. But I could get my rook out of immediate danger. For example, I could go take this pawn, but then I would have gotten a queen and a pawn for a queen. And that doesn't seem fantastic. Now, if they take my rook back, then I skedaddle with my queen. But I think they would take my queen, right? Take their queen. Wait, are we even on material? No. My opponent's up a piece. My opponent is up a knight at this point. And maybe in exchange for a couple of pawns, because it looks like I have more pawns. I might fail this puzzle, but I don't want to spend too much more time on it, just because I know I've already spent enough time on it to be down to just the 5 points if I get it right. I might lose 17 for getting it wrong. But that looks like the most I can get out of this is taking the queen, hoping that they take mine. Well, I mean, not hoping that they take mine. I hope that they would take my rook back and so I can save my queen. But I assume that they will take my queen back and then I will escape with my rook by picking up another pawn. And I don't know if that would be better, but here we go. Okay, that was not it. Oh, I only lost 9 points. Well, that's fine. That puzzle was rated fairly high and does not have a great pass rate. It says only 48% of people have passed that puzzle. Let's see what we should have done here. Go to the analysis board. Okay, they played the knight there to attack my queen, and that gave me huge advantage. The only thing that saves that advantage is playing queen to a5 check. Well, I thought about that, but then they're going to pull the B pawn up, right? Okay, so let's say they pull the B pawn up. Oh, wait, and then I take the queen. Wait, but then they would take mine, right? Yeah, but this way I get the bishop. Okay, well, let's try that again. The problem with letting them take my queen here is that the knight protects the bishop. And you'll remember that I did say that after I took the queen and they took my queen, I wouldn't be able to take the bishop because their knight would be guarding the bishop. But this way, when they take my queen, their knight's not guarding the bishop after they take my queen. So when they take my queen, I do get the bishop. Well, that makes sense. I think I have time for one more or two more if they don't take as long as this one did. I mean, I do have checks in this position, but none of them seem like great checks. I do have captures in this position, but that doesn't seem like a great capture. My queen is hanging, and that rook is defended. Oh, I do have a check. I'm learning. I'm getting better at looking around the board, into the corners. Do I have bishops and rooks that can get into the action? Because I'm bad at seeing that. I can check with my rook. Now, they could block, but I would just take those, so I don't know that if they would block. Once I check here on G1, their legal move left besides blocking would be putting the king there, and then that would be mate. So they might try blocking, and then I would have to take the bishop, but I think that has to be it. They did block with the bishop, and then this is going to be checkmate. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, mate in 3. It gave me a low-rated puzzle because it felt bad for me after I failed the other one. Notice how it does that to me? That's so nice. It gave me a challenge that was so hard, and then it was like, oh, we're sorry we gave you a hard one. Here's an easy one. This is a back rank mate, pretty sure. Okay, that was 1, 2, 3. So, also, oh, theme was back rank. Well, it's also mate in 3. So let's add that. Okay, well, since it gave me 2 easy ones, let's go one more. Wait, I'm playing with white? Oh, my queen's way down there. Oh, and their queen is really close to my king. Good thing that's not a knight. Wait. Yeah. Oh, and their king's over here, and they have extra pawns. Okay. Oh, and they did that to attack my queen with their knight, but left it where I could attack their queen. But should I take their queen? If I do, they'll take their... Oh, and then I'll get their knight. That's got to be it, right? Take their queen and then take the knight? It wasn't. That was not the answer. All right, well, let's find out what the answer was. The answer was checkmate here. All right. It gave me another easy puzzle, and I just didn't realize how easy it was. It was even easier than I thought. I thought it was as easy as picking up a piece here, but it wasn't. It was just checkmate. All right. Well, I've hit 30 minutes on my end. I did end this with 2 out of 4 failures, or yeah, failing 2 out of the last 4, but that's okay because I should have looked for checks first. That just has to reinforce my checklist. I have to look for checks first. Look for captures. In this case, I looked for captures first because the obvious queens were on the same diagonal and that knight was attacking my queen. But I should have looked for checks first on this one. But we're getting back up there. Thank you for watching. Thank you for spending your time here, and I'll see you next time.